gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, Stay Weird Network proudly brings you its newest show, Card Subject to Change, with Hassel. So, we've all seen wrestling. We've all been to an event, and you've all had those tickets where at the bottom it always says, Card Subject to Change. So, with that being said, what we're going to do is we'll dive into wrestling's greatest what-ifs. What if this happened? What if they hadn't said, that don't work for me, brother? What if there was a veer in the road? Because we all know there's always variance in what could haves. So, for our first one, we didn't go for any low-hanging fruit. We didn't go for, just the easy stuff. We went for Owen Hart. What if Owen Hart had won the WWF Championship from Shawn Michaels? So for all of you that may or may not know, it's story time with Hassel, baby. I got my Hart Foundation gear on. I'm ready to rock and roll. So in November of 1997, the WWF done the greatest swerve, the most infamous swerve in all of wrestling history in what is known as the Montreal Screwjob, in which Bret Hart was screwed over. He was signing with WCW. He was out the door. He was the champion. He had to go. They had to get the belt. You know the story. It's been rehashed. We're not getting into that. But when Bret left, 3/4 of the Hart Foundation went with him. The Anvil and Bulldog, they were signed with WCW as well. Thus going over there, and that's a what if for another day. Why the hell were these three not put back together as the Hart Foundation in WCW? But for whatever reason, Vince would not turn the Black Heart, Owen Hart, loose. He would not just release the King of Hearts. For whatever reason, he decided to keep him. Surely he had a plan for him, right? I mean, this isn't a guy that would just shit all over his employees' backs. I mean, he had to have a plan for this guy, right? But as we know, unfortunately, he did not have a plan for him. He returns. He has a short-lived feud with Shawn, transitions into a feud with Triple H, and then it goes from there. But what if? What if on that fateful night? See, to further the story, Owen's gone for close to a month. He returns on the Monday episode of Monday Night Raw and cuts first off, he attacks Shawn Michaels, kicks the shit out of him, gets arrested, thrown out. The next week, he comes and cuts a scathing promo, one of the best of his career probably, on Vince McMahon. We're in the infancy of the Vince Mr. McMahon character. Who better than Owen Hart, the sole survivor, the lone Hart, the Black Heart, to help with this Mr. McMahon character? Who had sympathy? We didn't have sympathy for Stone Cold. We wanted Stone Cold to do well. We had sympathy for Owen. He was the little brother that was always in the goat's shadow. He was the little brother that was left behind. Everyone left him. He was left to be his own man. So why not? Why do we not go this route? What we'll go today is, see, unfortunately, during this match right here that you're watching, Owen Hart has a very competitive match with Owen. Like they always did. Owen Hart has a competitive match with Shawn. I apologize. They always had great matches together. Great chemistry. They were good in and out of the ring together. But for the first time, they done what no one thought possible. They made Owen Hart a babyface. No one would have ever thought that we would have had sympathy for the Black Heart, Owen Hart. No, when he was nothing more than the King of Hearts, a 2-time Slammy Award winner, we hated him. No one wanted to see him. But yet, he came back. He came back, had a great promo. He came back and had great matches with everyone that he touched the ring with. So, what if on that night in December, instead of Owen slapping the sharpshooter on, turning it over to get cracked over the head by a crutch from Triple H, what if he won? What if on this fateful night, someone who had trained in the Calgary dungeon, someone who had been an enforcer for a Bret Hart match, someone had had a great deal of respect for Bret Hart, what if the world's most dangerous man, Ken Shamrock, came down there and intercepted and kept Triple H from coming to the ring with his crutch? What if the Phenom himself, The Undertaker, stopped China from getting in the ring? Or, better yet, since he was in his early stages of his feud with Kane, what if the Rattlesnake himself, just to piss Vince McMahon off, the man who would go on to win the Royal Rumble in the next month, what if he came down there and struck Chyna, putting the stunner on her, knocking her down where she couldn't interfere? And then Shawn's got nowhere to go. He's in the middle of the ring, sharpshooter. He taps. New WWF champion, the Blackheart, Owen Hart. Do you realize what this changes, people? Had this one match went this way instead of this way, it's a whole different ballgame. Mind you, let's ask the questions. What if? What if Owen Hart won the championship that night? Typically during these days, you didn't just pass the belt around like a hot potato. So if he won the belt in late December, the very last Raw of December, it stands to say he would have held the title until WrestleMania. What if Austin still wins the Rumble? We get a reemergence of the feud where Austin is already up 2-0 over the Rocket Owen Hart. But this time, Owen is WWF champion. He has some confidence he didn't have before when he was little brother under the shadow of the GOAT, Bret Hart. What if, during that WrestleMania right there, Steve Austin still prevails to get his first championship, but yet after, Owen does the unthinkable. He does what no little brother would do and side against family. What if Owen sides with Mr. McMahon and the corporation to regain his WWF champion, to win his second of many more titles? What if? Furthermore, what happens to Shawn Michaels at this point? If Shawn Michaels is no longer WWF champion, there's no reason for him to have the casket match that put his career on hiatus for 5 years with The Undertaker at the Royal Rumble. What if? Does Shawn Michaels still stay part of DX? Does this slow down the transition of Triple H, who is starting to ascend to the top? What if? Does Shawn Michaels stay part of DX? Does he enter the Royal Rumble? Does he win the Royal Rumble? What if? Does Sean Waltman's reemergence into DX on the first Raw of the post-WrestleMania WWF, does this mean a heel turn and Shawn reemerges as a babyface? What if? Do we get the Triple H Shawn Michaels feud 5 years earlier than what we were allowed? What if? Now Shawn is there throughout the rest of the Attitude Era instead of the infancy of the Attitude Era. What if? Or what if Shawn puts Triple H over at Mania? What if Shawn takes his ball and goes down south to WCW because there's some old man with a Fu Manchu leading his brothers around? What if? Does Shawn go down there and join the NWO because it's too sweet and it would be for life? What if? What if Shawn's career is cut even shorter because he doesn't ever get the help he needed? What if? These are the questions we ask you right here on Card Subject to Change each and every week. We'll do an episode. You let me know what your thoughts are, what ifs you have in mind that you'd like me to tackle, and what do you think would happen during this right here? Would it have went the paths I said? Could it went other paths? Who knows? Because you always know the card is subject to change.